And what is up, boys and girls? You're checking out an all-new The RCWR Show live, coming at you for Monday night, June 30th, 2014. Man, 4th of July holiday right around the corner. Can't wait. I know some of you guys are like, yes, only 3 more days. Hot dogs, cheeseburgers, and paradise, all that good stuff. I know I'm ready for it. I'm not flying solo on this episode. We got our brand new broadcast partner who did a pretty damn good job, I must say, for his first night. Talk about great way to make a debut on our Sunday night post-show cover and fallout from WWE Money in the Bank. My good friend is the one and only Titus Machiavelli. Titus, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well, Lee. Hello to the Machiavellians out there. Glad to be here for my second night with the RCRW. Yeah, I can't even talk. I'm so excited about what this took place. I'm all Twitter-pated.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I definitely want to say, and Titus, I know you probably echo the same sentiments because I saw the last tweet you had put out there. You said, yeah, got a few new followers. We do want to thank those of you that interacted with us tonight on Twitter, talking all things Raw. A lot of great interactions that was coming in there, man. Some great stuff. I definitely want to get you guys involved. Me and Titus, we definitely want to hear from you guys. Post those comments down below. Let us know what you had thought about tonight's episode of Raw, the good, the bad. A lot to talk about. I mean, we talked about just less than 24 hours ago, Titus, that WWE had did a bit of a hard reset with Money in the Bank, but then we follow it up to tonight, and it was like another reset was done. We're going to jump into it in just a little bit, folks, but get those comments down below. If you're new to us, we hope you enjoy our recap and review, and I can't stress this enough, if you're looking for actual WWE footage, my good friends, head on over to WWE Fan Nation right here on YouTube as they post little highlights of what all you have missed from weekly WWE programming. As that YouTube song goes, if you still can't find what you're looking for, and you want to go on ahead and head on over to WWE.com for exclusive photos, videos, the works. This episode is sponsored in part by Audible.com, where if you use our URL, which is audibletrial.com/the RCWR show, you can get yourself 1 free Audible book and 30 months of, or not 30 months, let me make sure I back that up, 30 days of free service. I don't want you guys to say, well, Lee said it was 30 months.
I was ready to sign up right there.
30 days of free service. I mean, if you guys are in the, I was just peeking on there like over the weekend. They got a really cool Brock Lesnar biography, Hulk Hogan, there's something by Tina Fey. I mean, they got some really great stuff, and the best part I like about the Audible books is like think of it as one big, long, but fun podcast. So like, take for example, maybe you guys like Tina Fey. You know Tina Fey, 30 Rock. She's got her own little book out. She narrates it herself. So, I mean, little cool stuff like that. Check it out, audible.com, or no, correction, audibletrial.com/the RCWR show. I don't know, man. Titus, where do we even want to begin? How about the kickoff or the Raw pre-show? Did you see that? I thought that was pretty good.
You know, I was surprised that I actually made the comment last night that I just didn't feel right with Renee Young. It looked a little weird, looked a little, my words were discombobulated. And we don't have Renee Young doing the typical, you know, 4-person, you know, desk out there. Instead we've got the studio with Byron and Booker and what's his name who didn't do anything?
Alex Riley.
Alex Riley from studio. And first off, it was a very grainy feed on my TV. I saw that on Twitter and multiple people saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you had you know, you're in the studio. You figured you'd have a better feed than that. But yeah, the pre-show was just odd to me. It just didn't feel like it had been over the months since the launch of the WWE Network.
It definitely felt a little different, but I'll say this: Byron Saxton, he did a pretty damn good job. I actually prefer him and Tom Phillips' style over Renee Young. Renee Young, she just needs to continue to hang out in the social lounge, do the little backstage interviews. You know, honestly, and to just kind of briefly go back to Josh Matthews, I know we had talked about it last night, but, you know, one thing that we didn't talk about was the fact that ESPN at some point, I don't know if they're still negotiating, but they've been trying to make a bid to grab Renee Young. And I just think it's kind of hilarious because, like, we have a running gag out here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And, like, we have all our local news affiliates, WJLA, Fox, NBC. There's, like, over the years been a great cream of the crop as far as sports broadcasters, and ESPN or Comcast have come and swept every single one of them, you know. So you look at what's been happening with WWE, Titus. They grabbed Jonathan Coachman. They grabbed Todd is it guy? I want to say Bridges.
No, Todd Bridges on Different Strokes.
You know the Todd I'm talking about, though.
Oh, you know, I do. He was there a long time.
They grabbed him, so you can't help but wonder, are they going to successfully grab Renee Young? Because if they do, then WWE, you might want to give Josh Matthews a call before a certain company down in Texas or Tennessee, Nashville, wherever the hell they are, decides to pick him up. But I thought Byron did a pretty good job, man. I really hope that he gets the job on a full-time basis. It just seemed more natural. And was it just me, or did Alex Riley have like a Clint Eastwood meets Burt Lancaster vibe going on with the beard?
I'm not even sure what that guy's doing. They're calling him, you know, they're putting him down as some expert in the realm of professional wrestling. He kicked around as Miz's lackey, and that was his claim to fame. So I'm not sure what kind of expert we're talking about here, but he had something going on.
He's got something going on. Let's talk about how the show had opened up. I believe things had kicked off. Titus, you got to help me out here because I actually had lost reception for a little bit.
My notes are a little not as organized as last night. What was that opening about? Doggone it.
Triple H, Stephanie.
Yeah, we had the Authority come out and almost had like a John Cena celebration party to start off in some ways. We're talking all, you know, big and sweet and wonderful, and he's going to be on the cover of the video game. And Stephanie, she's vibing the 8 Mile rap, you know, dance going on there. But of course, Cena in true Cena, Cena in true Cena style wasn't going to have anything of it. And that's you know, that's to be expected.
It was a very weird segment, it was, you know, because it was like, but it was funny at the same time because it's like you see the Authority, and they're like, oh, John Cena, oh, come on now, oh, yay, man, we're so glad that you won the championship, oh, man, you know, hey, look, man, we appreciate you so much, man. Look, you're on the front cover of the next video game. That was a sweet cover, by the way, but I hope WWE and 2K Sports, or 2K Games, whatever they're calling themselves now, I hope they did like they did with the last year's title, and they go, hey, design your own cover, because I just think that's a really awesome thing. It gets the WWE community involved. They need to make that be a yearly thing. I'm hoping that they go on ahead and do that again, because there's a lot of great graphic designers that's out there. And speaking as a graphic designer myself, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I know all the hard work and dedication that goes into that type of stuff. So hopefully for you gamers, as I'm definitely a gamer myself, hopefully they bring that back and we can see some really great submissions.
What do you think the over and under is CM Punk not being included in the video game?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. If he's not in the game, somewhat to what's going on with Mick Foley right now, because remember, Mick Foley had turned down that Legends deal recently, and part of it was with his whole involvement and his name likeliness in the video games and all of that. If he's not going to be in it like Mick Foley, there's going to be some really great CAW creators on there, or CAS, whatever they're calling it now, that's going to make some pretty spot-on good versions without modifications, so hacking and all that, guys. So, but I think that's funny. I know that there's probably a core group, Titus, that's like, man, bump that cover, man. I'm not getting that video game. There are actually people that will not buy this game because John Cena is on the front cover. Look, man, I don't care if Ronald McDonald or the Taco Bell Chihuahua was on the front cover. I just care about what's on the damn disc, and I'm gonna have some fun. That's all that really matters.
As
Yeah,
long
you
as David Arquette is not on the cover, I'm okay with it.
know. Yeah, yeah. Then it kind of hits a new low, you know? Seriously. Yeah, but I like how John Cena basically saw through their BS. He was like, look, you guys weren't acting this way last night at the pay-per-view. If anything, you guys were pretty irritated and upset that I had became
Well,
the champ.
Triple H was I was constipated. Stephanie was
Yeah,
worried about
yeah,
Randy because there's blood in the PG show. We don't want
yeah,
blood. We
yeah,
want alcohol. We want booze on a PG show. We'll talk about that later.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll hold that off down the road, I guess. But yeah, they kind of expected the Authority to try to get Cena up on their side of things. You knew Cena wouldn't do it, and of course he's going to be basically in a match where he can't win. But of course we know Super Cena will find a way.
yeah, yeah. It was a really great opening though. I mean, is it just me or is Stephanie McMahon like really starting to come full circle with the type of character that she's portraying on TV? Because it's so funny because when you watch Triple H and Stephanie on main WWE programming, and then you see them on NXT. On NXT, they're a little bit more loose. They're kind of really themselves, I guess, because NXT is their little baby or whatever. But the past couple of weeks, it just seems like Stephanie has just really kind of, it's just those little things. Like last week, you see her do the whole nana nana and just the way that she did it. Then this week, you saw her do a little bit of dance, and you're kind of like, whoa, didn't know Stephanie had those moves, but
It reminds me of Stephanie of years ago,
yeah,
and she's being herself. And I think Stephanie McMahon is a bit of a goob, probably in real life, and she's being herself, which is more believable to me, and something that maybe another promotion in Nashville should be watching and taking notes on, because when you're you, the fans will buy into it more. They'll still not like you. They'll still hate you and boo you. That's what you're supposed to do. But you're more believable as a character. So I agree with you completely that there's something different about Stephanie McMahon.
Why is it every single time I see Triple H get involved with some type of a rapper or somebody of a different ethnic background, in particular African American, why do I always have my skin always crawls? Because it just seems like when Triple H cuts the type of promo that he did with Cena, which just really seemed derogatory. I mean, I couldn't help but kind of almost have the goosebumps to when Booker T, Triple H, Ric Flair had that infamous segment, and Triple H was like, "Go ahead, Booker, with your nappy little hair, do one of those little spinneroonies for me." I couldn't help but kind of cringe hearing him talk the way that he talked to John Cena. Knowing
I
that.
think it goes back to writing. I don't think he's comfortable
Okay.
with that kind of conversation. I
Yeah.
think the writing for him in that segment probably shouldn't have been written, because it doesn't. He again goes back to being believable, back to
Yeah.
believability, and it's something that he does not portray very well, and it comes off as being maybe a little ew.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now, what had happened after that? Because I walked away for like about maybe 15 minutes. I saw, let me see.
We had the Seth Rollins and RVD match, and it was a good match. I was back and forth between multitasking like you do, like multiple projects. It was a good match, and I think you see, again, back to what I said last night, when you see a guy like RVD put into a match with somebody who can really go, hold for hold and move around the ring like Seth Rollins does, you see RVD really be who RVD is, and I really enjoy seeing him the last couple of days. It was nice to see him.
How about the news there, or
Well,
rather,
let's not forget, that they cut that promo right afterwards, and Dean Ambrose makes that comment, which is important for later. Every single time that you cash in that little, you go cash in that little briefcase, I'm going to be there. He actually made a great line of the night was, I'm not upset about Money in the Bank. Actually, this will be more fun.
I missed that. Wow, Dean Ambrose said that.
It was a great little promo. He was up on the Titantron, and saying that whenever you go to cash in that little Money in the Bank, I'll be there.
Talk about Bo Dallas for a little bit, because we saw him just less than 24 hours ago. Here he was involved with a major WWE superstar in Daniel Bryan, and then, pretty much here he comes the next night, and he's talking about Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan. He's taking little jabs at them, almost like they died or whatever. It's like a moment of silence for them because they're both injured. I'm really kind of getting the strongest impression that when both of these guys come back, Bo Dallas is going to have his hands full.
I have this feeling that in the last week, a different writer is writing for Bo Dallas. Because his character all of a sudden has taken a little bit of I don't even want to say a little. It's taken a real significant turn to the left. And instead of being positive insulting, he's insulting in a positive way. And there's a difference there. And it just seems that somebody else is maybe writing for him or designing for him, because it's not the same character that it has been for the last number of weeks. And I'm a big Bo Dallas guy. I like this character. It's fresh. It's different. And all of a sudden it seems almost annoying, as if we found a way to screw up something that was working.
Yeah, exactly. Stephanie McMahon had informed Nikki Bella that she was going to be in a handicap match against Naomi and Cameron, and this was pretty much Stephanie McMahon's retaliation, if you will, for Nikki bringing Brie to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last night. We saw Naomi and Cameron pick up the victory. No-brainer right there. But what was kind of follow up on what you had said, Titus, you said, expect to see Naomi and Cameron begin to, I guess, disintegrate or whatever, their alliance to one another. And what the hell is up with this? Is it Cameron with the bomb.com?
Bomb.com, which of course is as some people have been tweeting to me tonight, is a dead website.
Yes.
You'd figure that WWE, if you're going to use she's the bomb.com, that they have actually gone out and bought the bomb.com, so it could be some sort of, now it's just some relatively nothing website. It's a dead site that's for sale, and just his poor planning. Piss poor planning by WWE, and this whole breakup of the Funkadactyls has been rushed, pointless, and really almost makes them whatevers. I mean, Cameron's a whatever. I've never been a Cameron person. I mean, I like Melina and Alicia Fox, but I'm not going to go there with her. But Naomi's a wrestler. I like Naomi. And I think this whole little breakup thing is actually going to be detrimental to Naomi's career over the next, probably up through SummerSlam at least, because she's going to be feuding with Cameron, who is not the worker that Naomi is. So it's a throwaway.
I'm kind of picking up the same vibe. Now, have you seen by chance episodes of Total Divas?
I have to admit I have a secret little fetish for Total Divas. I'm gonna be man up and say yes. I do. I'm a big fan of Total Divas, and I didn't think I would be.
Has the show helped Cameron in any way?
It for me really it reinforces why she went on to Tough Enough in the first place. Not to be a professional wrestler. She wants to have her other career. You see it in this last season of Total Divas. She's pushing her rap song or music career, whatever it is that she's doing, and she is this little child, and can't say I love you to her boyfriend because it's such a big word, and it just reinforces those beliefs that I had of her in the first place.
For the longest time, I used to have the hardest time when my girlfriends would say, I love you. I used to have a hard time saying, I love you too. And then when I started thinking about it, I would just say, okay, yeah, I love you too. But in my mind, I was literally saying, I love you too, the band. And, but eventually, I really, with the right woman, I started saying,
She'd been with her boyfriend for a couple of
yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there's some mommy daddy issues there or
yeah.
something.
And shout out to my girlfriend who's probably going to be watching this later. I actually do love you, YOU, not the band, okay? I don't want to be sleeping on the couch for a couple of weeks. But yeah, you know what? I mean, 101. I mean, if you're trying to promote a business or you're trying to promote some new endeavor or whatever, you're gonna plug a website. I mean, Crash Course 101. Make sure that you have secured the domain. Make sure that everything's clicking and it's working. You're saying bomb.com, and it's not like you only heard this once. I mean, all three commentators were freaking saying it. You're
Right.
hearing it throughout the match. You're hearing it after the match, and you're like, okay, let's see what the hell this bomb.com is. And the bomb.com is not even active. And here's what's really funny: some genius that is probably going to get wind of this, that may be a wrestling fan or may not be. They may be like, wow, the most simplest name for a website, bomb.com. Nobody took it. Nobody took the domain. Nobody. What? And they're going to make money off of it. It's somewhat similar to what had happened a couple of years back with Conan O'Brien. I think he kept promoting the masturbating bear, and I remember at one point they were talking about doing a website for the bear, and apparently some knucklehead beat them to the punch or whatever, and Conan was pissed. I remember he was like for several weeks just talking about that whole experience. Wade Barrett, big news right there. Wade
Huge.
Barrett, yeah, man, wow. So Wade Barrett, folks, as a result of that match he had on SmackDown against the Real American Jack Swagger, which, by the way, and we'll get to it in a little bit, doesn't look like Jack Swagger is getting any type of heat. He's not in the doghouse for that match with Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett has a separated shoulder. He is going to be out of action, they just said, for the next several months. Intercontinental Championship is vacant as a result. They're going to do a over-the-top rope battle royal to crown a new Intercontinental Champion. Man, Titus, two-part question for you, brother. Your thoughts on this big news with Wade Barrett, and then most importantly, what advice would you give the WWE when it comes time for Wade Barrett to come on back?
Well, I don't think there should be any heat on Jack. Watching the footage back, um, when you're doing the move that Jack and Wade were doing, throwing him into the barricade, most of that is the own momentum of the guy being thrown, and he hit the wrong way, and I don't think there should be any heat on Jack. Jack can get heat on his own other things that he does because he's a big knucklehead. Um, I think this battle royal, it's an opportunity to do one of two things. It's an opportunity to reestablish somebody. Um, I think a Cesaro is the first person, kind of reestablish him. He's kind of lost some of his momentum since winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Being partnered with Paul Heyman may or may not have been the right thing. So it's an opportunity to do that. Or it's an opportunity to bring someone new to the dance. Bring somebody from a below mid card status, or bring someone from NXT up and have him hop in and do something. I like the idea of maybe reestablishing somebody, whether it be Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, somebody of that nature.
What does WWE do with Wade Barrett when he gets ready to come back, though? I mean, that's the real $1 million question, because this is the second time now that Wade Barrett has suffered an injury right when WWE was looking at him, and they're like, "Oh, we need to push the hell out of this guy." I mean, they really had took their time this go round,
Yeah.
and I give WWE a lot of credit for it. I mean, they didn't just rush right away. They wanted to make sure he was definitely going to be physically capable of staying healthy long enough, and he got to that point. It's like, all right, he's starting to get white hot again, even better than the last go round. Now he's out again. I can't help but think about Dolph Ziggler, the two
Mhm.
concussions, whatever. I can't help but put Wade Barrett in that same category. So my question to you is: Wade Barrett now on that caution list?
If I'm booking a show and I'm putting my mid card strap on a guy, this is the Intercontinental title for crying out loud. I have to think twice. I have to because there's an argument to be made that Dolph Ziggler may or may not have gotten those concussions of his own doing. These are these are these are legitimate injuries that happened to Wade Barrett in a way that isn't someone else's doing. First time over the top rope, he landed wrong, did whatever he did to his arm. This into the barrack. It's an issue that you have to question if you're booking and putting your money into this guy. Lots of money put into bad news gimmick from the Monday night spots to the Hall of Fame, where he really went over big with the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I worry about him getting a chance in the future because I think he just buried his career for a while.
Now, Titus, did you watch that match initially on SmackDown by chance? Because I'm getting a correction by Lee Dobby that it was actually a match between Bad News Barrett and Dean Ambrose, and Jack Swagger attacked Bad News Barrett after the match.
I believe that's what it was. Yeah, it wasn't a match between the two of them. It was an after the fact, and it was. I didn't see it happen live,
Mhm.
but it was exactly what he was saying. It was after. It was outside of
Well,
a match.
regardless, then you still have to involve Jack Swagger in there, and I'm actually gonna, and it's kind of cool to actually disagree with my broadcast partner here, but I'm actually gonna have to disagree with you as far as Jack Swagger because Jack Swagger has had a history, unfortunately, of injuring the people that he's
Yeah.
been working with, and it's kind of like if I'm WWE, I can't help but pull Jack Swagger to the side. Well, maybe we should get to it right after this because it's kind of interesting the position that Jack Swagger is in now, considering what went down last week. But my whole thing is, if I'm management, I'm creative, I'm booking, I'm gonna have a sit down with Jack Swagger, and I'm gonna say, look, man, you're a big dude. You got height, you got weight. You got to be a little bit more careful with some of these people, that you're working with. Now, look, Wade Barrett, we know his background. We know the whole boxing, fighting thing, and all that stuff. He can handle a good ass whooping, but you still have to make sure that at the end of the day, your number one goal, I would think, is to make sure that after whatever, the match, a beatdown, whatever, you and that person you were working with are both chilling in the back, having some ice cold brews, and going, that was a good job. We tore it out there earlier in the night. And unfortunately, Jack Swagger just continues to rack up these injuries of people that he's working with. I mean, if this guy isn't careful, I mean, heaven forbid, let's jump into it now. Heaven forbid he injures Alexander Rusev, as that was one thing that was teased tonight, folks. Alexander Rusev, he came out, he had this whole promo thing that was going on with Lana. And by the way, special shout out to Matt, who had sent me a rated XXX image of Lana. Titus, if you're interested, buddy, I'll have to show. It was one of those scenarios where you're hearing Rusev, he's talking, and you're like, okay, there's something attached to this. And we finally, after weeks and weeks and weeks, because I've been saying this for weeks on the radio shows and all that, we see Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger come out, and basically Zeb Coulter says, look, we're going to shut you the hell up. We're going to show you what America is all about. And Titus, would you agree with that new intro that needs to happen for Jack Swagger?
I do. I don't know if it's as PG as it needs to be, but you know, I I'm I marked out for this segment. I thought this was the perfect segment. Um, but to go on to Swagger, I agree with you. Jack has got a reputation. If you look at the footage of what happened on SmackDown, the style of injury, it is the it's more of the Taker in their momentum as opposed to the giver in their momentum. But you and I weren't the two guys in the ring. Swagger could have easily overdone it just as easy. You're correct. Based upon tonight, I think that they've absolved him of any sort of responsibility in the sense that he's been put in the middle of handling what I'm going to say is going to be a very interesting storyline for the entire summer. You've got you had 17,000 people all stand up, put their hand on their heart, and one big voice say, "We the people." And I love Zeb. I had the opportunity to talk with him personally in a air flight to Tennessee a couple of months ago, and what a absolutely neat guy. I would have had some more time with him, and got to play some heart for the manager role. And you got two managers in this whole thing, so I'm gonna geek out a little bit extra. I think it is. I think that you saw talk about the hard reset. You look at least for now, Zeb and Jack Swagger have taken the babyface role.
Yeah, definitely. Want to welcome those of you that's checking us out right now. You're listening to Titus Machiavelli, Lee Sanders right here, RCWR show live for June 30th, 2014. If you're enjoying our recap and review of tonight's WWE Raw so far, go out of your way. Give this piece a thumbs up. You can also retweet this, Facebook it, Google Plus it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. Right now, for those of you that's going to be checking out this recording, you're going to see an ad break. We're going to come on back and continue to talk of tonight's fallout from WWE Raw. A lot of returns came about on this episode. We'll give you the details in just a little bit, so stick around. All right, and we're back. All right, talking fallout from tonight's WWE Raw. Kofi Kingston had defeated Cesaro. This really is the hell up right here. Okay, it's like we see the intros. They're coming out. All right, we see like the first 10 minutes or whatever. We'll be back with this awesome match right after this. We come back. Oh, God, Lee, the match is over, and Cesaro is just belligerent. He's beating the crap out of Kofi Kingston. This is why you need to have the WWE app. No, 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 and no. First off, me being a broadcast a journalist, if you will, Titus being a broadcast journalist, if you will, this is what we're doing. We're working on our 9-to-5 job projects. We're tweeting with people. We're trying to be as interactive as possible on social media, right? We're putting the final preparations on what we're going to be talking about on tonight's show, taking notes and all that. And then on top of all that, we got to make sure that we're showing our family, we're giving them the attention so that we're not totally being a freaking zombie as we're doing all this other stuff and we're trying to watch wrestling. And then on top of all that, we're supposed to somehow squeeze in an app for a second screen experience so that when you're typing, you're working, you're doing all that stuff, you're looking at the TV, you're looking at your little WWE. No, I'm sorry. That's too damn much. I can do the pre-show, some post-shows, that's all I can do. Anything else, Titus, for me, it's overkill.
It is complete overkill, and it is a very, I don't want to use the word cheap, but it's a cheap ploy to get eyes on their app. And that whole idea of, oh my gosh, anything can happen during the commercial break. Mm-hmm. I think commercial breaks are the time to run and refill your drink, your twisted iced tea, apparently, or twisted lemonade. It's your chance to run to the bathroom. It's your chance to send out your tweets about how awesome your television program is. Why distract people? If you want to watch the second screen, go for it. I've spent time doing it. My 10-year-old loves to do it. He likes to answer questions and learn about things. That's different. But you don't want to spoil the people who pay the money. I buy the WWE Network, not the 10-year-old. Right. I buy the T-shirts, not the 10-year-old. Don't screw me out of the ending of the match. Put it on TV. That's what it's there for.
Especially, let's put a big exclamation point on especially, given the great performance that Kofi Kingston had as well as the other participants for that ladder match for the WWE contract, Kofi had got a really nice pop there, as we talked about last night, and it's like, man, how do you follow that up? It's like, okay, well, you did it right. You have him lock it up with Cesaro, but we don't get to see the epic conclusion. It's like, come on, man, this kid was starting to build some damn momentum.
They stole it from those guys as well, because you only get, out to go out there and do a 6 to 8 minute match, an 8 to 10 minute match, and then you screw me out of the ending by putting it over here where the majority of people aren't watching.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it to happen. So now I have to watch the app? No, it's not going to happen.
No. Speaking of tasty beverages, and shout out to our good friend Joe Rodriguez. I'm actually going to be talking to him later this week because he actually was there in Boston at the TD Garden for Money in the Bank, and I'm actually going to be chatting up with him about his whole experience. We'll have that be available for you guys maybe later this week. I don't know. We'll let you know, but it's so funny. We see this ridiculous segment with Santino Marella, and he's like, this is the life. I'm enjoying myself, and I have food and drinks, but, well, no, I don't really think I have the right drinks. I don't know what to do. And basically, I don't know if that's how the commercial went. I'm just winging it. Work with me, folks. And basically, we see Adam Rose pop
Actually, you're doing better than
Okay, great. And we see Adam Rose pop up, and he's like, basically, hey, man, I got you hooked up. I got your hookup right here, man. Here, what's this? It's Twisted Iced Tea. And so I'm like just doing some stuff on the computer, and I hear Twisted Iced Tea, and it's not really registering in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, it's some lame-ass bootleg Diet Snapple or whatever. Okay, that's fantastic. And I just keep doing my thing. And then I look up, and then I look at the shape of the bottle, and I'm like, because I'm a Smirnoff guy, okay? I like hard liquor, but when I know I need to get up for work the next day, Titus, I like to have those nice, you want to be my friend, get me a blueberry or a raspberry Smirnoff. Give me a couple of cases of those. I will love you. You're like my best friend. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that bottle is shaped like a Smirnoff. Well, what's going on right here? Our good buddy Joe Rodriguez, we were like, wait a minute, is that alcohol that WWE is plugging now? And Joe was like, yeah, I sell it at my bar, man. That's booze. And so, wow, WWE. So let me see if I got this straight. You got the whole PG rating, right? And yet you're plugging booze, and you don't even have common freaking decency to put some type of a fine print at the bottom that says drink responsibly, please be over the age of 21. You don't even have Santino or freaking Adam Rose who comes out, a big, colorful, cartoonish character, if you will, kind of has this whole Mad Hatter type of gimmick going on, meets Willy Wonka, as somebody had pointed out. You got the freaking bunny. You got all these weird, colorful people coming out. Whoa, tour bus, all that crap, right? You don't even have Adam Rose say, please, folks, be over 21, drink responsibly, make sure that you make it a good, safe 4th of July holiday from all of us here at WWE, and on behalf of whatever the fuck that that thing is. Okay?
I'm gonna take you further because I expected Hornswoggle, the cute little to walk out. My 10-year-old, I'm on my recliner chair taking my notes, and I'm going, what the fuck? You are putting on alcohol? My 10-year-old goes, no, Dad, it's just hard lemonade. Son, hard lemonade, hard. Hard is alcohol. Alcohol's adult. Hard. He goes, oh, I thought it was just, like sour lemonade, Dad. And your point is exactly, Lee. You got 10-year-olds all across the country going, oh, cool, hard lemonade. It's just lemonade. Yeah. And you're right. There wasn't a frickin' warning of any kind. First off, you take a moment, a segment that could have gone to promoting somebody. No, you decide to promote booze. We can't have steel chair shots to the head. Can't have intentional blading and so forth. We don't need blood, but we can have booze.
Yeah.
Tonight for me was a mixed bag of ridiculousness, because from here we go to the return of Vince McMahon on Raw, and oh no, it wasn't Vince McMahon, it was Vince McSandow, and yet Stephanie McMahon talking about making fun of my father, the guy who invented wrestling. But gee, wasn't it just the summer of 2006, and Triple H was walking around doing the exact damn thing? Mm-hmm. So you had all these contradictions throughout the night, and if it wasn't for about 3 moments, and we'll talk about these moments in a moment, 3 moments, this whole night was really subpar. You had this alcohol beverage thing was really kind of nuts and kind of offensive in my aspect, being that I'm not against booze. I like a good drink myself. Yeah. But I'm sitting there with a 10 and a 7-year-old watching Monday Night Raw, and what are we headed to the return of an Attitude Era or not? I don't know.
2-part question for you with regards to booze as we close it out with how WWE handled that segment. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, they did that segment like right around, was it like 9:30 to 10 p.m. we saw that segment?
Might be about right.
Okay, so I got a 2-part question for you. If they would have showed that segment after 11:01 p.m., would that had been a little bit more smoother, been a little bit more easier for folks watching? Because at this point, the kids are asleep. Even if school's out for summer, the kids are probably going to be sleeping right about at that time. And then the second part to the question is, would it have been better had they showed that particular commercial exclusively on the WWE Network for the following reasons? Number one, I'm hearing reports that in the very near future, WWE is strongly going to be looking into advertisers for the WWE Network. It's going to kind of get like the Hulu Plus type of treatment, basically. All right, so I don't know about you, but seeing as how there's so many paying customers, okay, there's no 14-year-old that's going to be like, I have a credit card and I'm going to go order the WWE Network. No, it's pretty much the adults that are ordering this and they're checking it out. Would it suffice to see that commercial during a Raw commercial break exclusively on the network and maybe for the app?
For me, I'm going to answer both questions real easy. The time frame, I think that segment, because it wasn't a commercial, it was a segment during Monday Night Raw, was completely wrong from top to bottom. I don't care what time it was, because a segment in wrestling should be a segment on wrestling.
Okay.
In the end, you were right. There was no sort of drink responsibly,
nope.
B21.
Nope.
You want to run these guys are trained professionals. Don't try this at home, but have a beer, kid.
Yeah.
I think I would have been completely fine with it, still with a warning of some sort on the network. 100% fine. I look at 3 hours of Raw that you need 3 hours because you need to push your talent. And you're not pushing Adam Rose and you're not pushing Santino Marella. What are you doing? You're pushing booze. You're paying for an advertiser.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Pushing booze.
It's past midnight now. In all honesty, it made WWE look like a money-grabbing whore.
Yeah.
That's honestly how it made them look. Would you be surprised if in the next coming days, couple of weeks, those parent communities, advocate groups and all that, if they all rally up and they send a memo to WWE blasting them for that segment?
I may have been more accepting of it if they would have separated, with some sort of drink. I keep going back to it, but drink responsibly. Make sure you're 21. We watch the commercials about being safe and not doing this at home to do professional wrestling. They're trained athletes. They're trained to do this. They get hurt for big dollars. We should have had something there, and I probably wouldn't have been as torqued off.
So, but do you see the parent advocate groups?
Oh, and they will. And should they know? They shouldn't. They shouldn't. I'm not. And I relate in many ways to that side of the aisle. However, we don't need. The last thing we need is protests, and I'm so over that. We just need some common sense. And Stephanie McMahon, the chief of brand officer, she's responsible for this brand. She's responsible to make this brand work for her 3 daughters. And you just this. We all know the stories that came out a couple of weeks ago that Vince fired the head writer and Vince has taken over the lead segment. That's why you get potty humor, Stephanie throwing up on Vicky a few weeks ago, and you get the pool full of Dookie in last week's show. Potty humor. That's Vince. Vince probably sat back watching that segment and laughed his ass off. Thought it was damn funny. He needs to remember that segment. He got 3 little granddaughters that needs to be, you need a little more responsible, But I digress.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
We have some great stuff to talk about still.
Yeah. Real quickly, you were just talking about Damian Sandow dressed as Vince McMahon. Unfortunately, we saw him in a squash match against Great Khali.
Finally, we have a great segment with Damian Sandow. Honestly, it was a great swerve. You thought Vince was walking out, and out walks this great imitation of Vinnie Mac, and it was a good imitation. The walk was great. He did he did a great job. And instead of making something fun out of it, we have the Great Khali return, which all these returns. One of them was a Great Khali, and one chop. And actually, again. My son says in the replay, Dad, the replay was the whole match. That's how long the match was.
Yeah. Moving right along, we saw probably one of the best segments of the entire night, I thought, aside from a second one that happened. But I'm going to give the itch to this segment. We kept getting teased all night that there was some big return that was going on, that there was this person that was a former WWE champion, and they have achieved such great success and all things entertainment, you name it, they were going to be coming back to the WWE. Titus and I, we gave our respective picks. Just to recap, Titus went with Ric Flair. I
didn't hear the media guy. I just heard former champion, great, so I'm like, I know that Ric's supposed to be coming back. But yeah, I picked Ric Flair.
I went with Ric Flair too, but I also threw in there. I think I said Bruno Sammartino. I can't remember the third person I went with. But
my second one was a guy named Mike Mizrachi.
And that's exactly who we saw, folks. We saw The Miz come out and wearing his nice little white suit, and he received a pretty decent reaction from the crowd. I mean, it was better than I anticipated, I will admit that. But then you kind of started to really get that burning sensation that The Miz was there to set up something bigger. Because, in all honesty, when you look back on the segment in retrospect, if the segment would have ended with The Miz, he was the big, hey, I'm back, and I'm better than ever, baby. I just got done filming The Marine. Woo!
Big movie.
Oscar worthy.
It's not even going to make Blu-ray. It's going to do DVD only.
Shoot, I was thinking VHS.
Beta. But it was that promo was a little bit of a shoot. It really was. It was pointed right at the IWC, talking about how you've thrown me under the table. You don't think I'm great. Hollywood thinks I'm great because I'm a big time movie star. I've made no movies. My movie career is bigger than his. It was a shoot in some ways, but you're right. It was flat. It was nothing spectacular, and what came next was spectacular.
What came next was spectacular, folks. If you didn't watch Raw tonight, you missed a really awesome moment, as it was the return of Raw is Jericho, the Ayatollah of rock and roller. Chris Jericho, lead man of the group, Fozzy, made his return. Great segment that we saw right there. I love how Miz Titus took a jab at Jericho, and he said to him, "So what are you gonna do here? Are you gonna rewind it back to 2012?"
2012 Jericho and not
Yeah,
talk of your light bright jacket.
bright jacket, and are you just gonna stand there and not talk for 3 weeks? I mean, he had some really good. Ooh, that was a good one, Miz. And Jericho just coming in with the code breaker, takes him out, grabs the microphone, actually was able to say a little something something to the crowd, and saying, "Damn, that felt good." And I guess just before Jericho was about to really get to the heart of the matter, why he was there and all that, lights go out.
And the real reason of the segment was shown.
Yep. The real reason for the segment was shown as Jericho was face to face with all three members of the Wyatt family. They did a hurting on him. The last burning image you see is Bray Wyatt putting Chris Jericho in the Sisters of Abigail finisher, or Sister Abigail finisher. And that was pretty much it. I mean, that was a serious number right there. Titus, no complaints right here, man. I mean, I don't care if Chris Jericho is back as a part-timer. The one thing that I love about Chris Jericho, as well as Dave Bautista, we need to make sure we give these guys props. These guys, they may be part-timers, but they're going to all the live events. They're going to all the house shows. They're doing whatever. They aren't doing, and even RVD, we got to give him a nod as well, because he's in there as well. Not like your Undertakers, not like your Dwayne The Rock Johnsons. And Brock Lesnar's. We gotta give respect where it's due. Even though Jericho is a part timer, he goes in there and he goes in at 100%. And I love the fact that he's back in this way. Now we know what the future holds for Jericho. Make no mistake about it, folks. Jericho is back. If it was just going to be a situation where Jericho was just going to pop up and basically he's just there to do a one-off appearance or whatever, then Titus, maybe they would have had this gone down like in a backstage segment, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
the way that they did it, it was like really letting you know Jericho's back, and he's back for a good minute now, and he's back taking on the Wyatts.
2 points on this. I'm not big on part-time performers. I'm not. However, there's a class of star that really has earned the right to do part-time. Jericho is one of those guys who carried the torch for quite a while. He earned the right to be able to do a part-time segment. Plus, he's very good at putting over young talent. He put over CM Punk at WrestleMania. He's put over young talent quite a bit. I saw this segment and I thought one specific thing. You go back, rewind to last night's Money in the Bank. You have Bray Wyatt walking out in the arena covered with cell phone lights going off, which 10 years ago that would have been lighters, not cell phone lights. Fans are hot for him. He is a heel. He is supposed to be a sick, demented, twisted son of a bitch, and the fans are eating him up. So in the realm of being a heel, he's not getting over as a heel, and he's not a face. So this segment pushed him towards a heel. He actually got boos tonight because somebody who the fans love, and he makes his return, and he's gonna tell everybody how great that they are and how much he loves them, how much he missed them. It was stolen away from them by the Wyatts, and so they actually got booed tonight, which is a good step in trying to push him as a monster heel.
Yeah, I love it. No complaints. I'm happy that Jericho is back, and you're right, Titus. He has earned it. I mean, he's got to be the hardest working man in entertainment aside from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, the guy's got a great podcast. He's got the whole But I'm Chris Jericho web series. He's got his band Fozzy, and I can't stress this enough for you guys that are in the rock, heavy metal, hard rock. If you haven't gotten into Fozzy, you really should. I mean, just the evolution that band has been able to make on every single album. With the last one that they did, I mean, such a phenomenal piece of work right there. It was a great masterpiece. You got to get into it. I hear nothing but also great things about them live. They are a hard touring band right there. They go anywhere, everywhere. It's ridiculous, but great to see Jericho back.
And the one thing that's really kind of interestingly is that you love the internet wrestling community because they're such a funny, fickle group.
Mm-hmm.
They will blast, never giving a young guy a chance, always pushing old stars, old stars. Oh my God, Jericho's here! Oh yay! And
Mm-hmm.
you got to get some reality here, guys. Either you're pissed off because young talent isn't pushed, or you're happy that old talent is back. It's got to be one or the other. It cannot be both.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a little bit of both tonight. We had tweets last night. Young talent not getting pushed, which is ridiculous. But then it's those same people who are probably marking out because Jericho returned tonight.
And look at Jericho's timing. That's the most important thing. Look at Jericho's timing. This isn't for a WrestleMania paycheck. I mean, this is literally, if you really want to think about this is literally helping WWE out at a time right now where it's kind of slow for them, because everybody's out on vacations. They're doing their whole 4th of July, all that good stuff, okay? So the timing of this, I think it's awesome, and I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do. I know that there's going to be those haters. There's going to be those guys that's going to be like, in about maybe 6 to 8 weeks, man, Jericho's just been jobbing out the people left and right. He hasn't really picked up any significant wins. Jericho has been there. He's done that. I mean, if you're not familiar with his championship accomplishments, do yourself a favor and freaking go on Wikipedia or whatever, or just look up matches on YouTube, or get yourself the Breaking Down the Walls Chris Jericho DVD. That's a really great DVD.
And one of the very best debuts in WWE history.
Yes. You know what? Let's jump from that and let's go to another return. Let's just go right for it, man, because I mean the rest.
They look great. She was, what is she, like 9 months pregnant, and all these rumors and everything. But AJ Lee has returned. She looked great for being, highly pregnant. I love the dirt sheets.
Yeah.
AJ Lee comes out, surprises everybody. I was stunned. I don't think anybody had anything about that whatsoever. And she came out to Paige, and I'm telling you, I'm for hire WWE. You don't have to listen to the show. You can hire me, because last night I said we need something different from Paige. I don't buy this look for her, and she had a little bit of a chip tonight. She had a little bit of an edge to her. She had a little bit of a heel moniker to her, and AJ comes out, pulls the exact same line that was done after WrestleMania, but in a face style. And I was wrong, and I rubbed it in people's face, but I want a chance to, wrestle you, and do the exact same thing. And of course, we now also have a new WWE Divas Champion in returning Mrs. CM Punk.
Hey, you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that they got that title off of Paige. I've been saying it for the past several weeks. I'm going to say it again. Paige is a phenomenal performer when she gets in the ring, and how truth it was to hear Paige cut the promo that she did, saying, look, I am aware of what people are saying out there. I know that there are people that feel I need to go back to NXT. There's people that feel I don't deserve to be the Divas Champion. Honey, we did kind of say those things the past several weeks, as well as early as last night. So,
there's a great tweet that somebody sent me. Triple H is there with a box with labeled "Send to NXT Orlando" and stuff in there. She's going to have many WWE Diva Championship runs.
Yeah.
It was a great opportunity to bridge the gap with AJ taking some time off. I hope we see a lot more of this new edge on Paige, and hopefully we can see her morph into a real heel. I think she's capable of it.
I think she is too. I just want her to start working on emotions more. You know what I'm saying? I need her to make sure she continues to go to those Vince McMahon classes and gets those promos and all that down, because now the test for her really begins. Now she's no longer the Divas Champion, and as you said, the seeds have been planted right there for a heel turn. It should be very interesting to see how she works on the main roster in the coming weeks, because I think it's safe to say, probably as early as Battleground, man, we're probably going to see these two girls lock it up for the championship. And between then, because what's that's about 3.5 weeks away. So between that period, and we're probably going to see them lock it up again at SummerSlam, which isn't that far away. There's going to be some, I'm hoping, some really great inner character development from Paige. It would be awesome. Stardust, Goldust, they picked up a victory over right back. So once again, I could care less. That's all I have to say. I care less about that. Main event match. Talk about the main event match, Titus.
The main event, you got part of what was announced during the opening segment with the Authority is that John Cena is going to be in a four-way between himself, Randy Orton, Kane, and Roman Reigns. But tonight our main event was a tag team match with Kane and Randy Orton taking on John Cena and Roman Reigns, who, God, man, that kid is so hot right now. I mean,
yeah.
Good match. Good match. I mean, you get what you pay for in that match. You don't have four technical wrestlers catch can wrestling in there. You get what you get. But what you had the disqualification, Kane taking the steel chair to John Cena, getting disqualified. Cena and Reigns goes over. What really was telling us how this was ended was Cena was tombstoned by Kane. Looked like he had gotten hurt. Triple H goes down. Is he hurt? Yep. He waves to the curtain, and out comes Mr. Money in the Bank himself to cash in the Money in the Bank contract and become WWE champion. But as promised earlier in the night, looked like a referee was pretty dumb as what the segment looked like. Took too long. Dean Ambrose made good on his promise, came out and jumped Seth Rollins, disrupting the cashing in. WWE did tweet it was not officially cashed in, so he still has the contract to cash in later. But it left a great ending. Great ending that I think that Triple H is very good at, Lee, and that is telling an entire story with his eyes. And he and Roman Reigns were face to face. They said nothing for 2 minutes. And the crowd, so in love with it, was yelling, "This is awesome," and nothing happened. That's how great Triple H really is when he gets into that mode. I'm looking forward to this build-up to this matchup with these two guys.
I want to follow up on that because as I saw that moment go down, I couldn't help but say to myself a couple of things, which is, okay, they're going to make this happen, and it's probably going to happen as early as SummerSlam. I mean, that would be the great, if you're going to have these two collide, I can't think of a bigger stage than SummerSlam. And then the other thing that I had really appreciated that I don't think not enough credit is given, Titus, is the wrestling community, the wrestling fans that go to these WWE events, because these fans, they knew what they were seeing right here in this moment between Roman Reigns and Triple H. They looked at this and they said to themselves, oh yeah, this is what we need to see. Yes, Triple H is going to work with Roman Reigns. That was like the overall feeling I got from that crowd. It was a very smart crowd. It's like, yes, this is what we want to see. Triple H and Roman Reigns. Triple H is going to put over Roman Reigns. Yes, book it. Let's see it happen. A very
smart crowd at the end. Not a smart crowd for the night. And
yeah,
there were some, right there. There were some really pissy moments when you had some really good matches going on and you got the obligatory CM Punk chants. And I'll put that off for a moment because I have a lot to say about that. But the crowd really they got that moment, and I think it's really funny that allegedly one of the things that caused CM Punk to leave was he didn't want to work Triple H at WrestleMania, not in the main event. Yet people are hot for the Roman Reigns deal. I think it's a big step for Roman Reigns' career to be in a match with Triple H. Like him or don't like him, think he buries guys or doesn't bury guys, he is a big star in this business. And I'll go back to what Hulk Hogan said a number of years ago. When you see that your name is listed next to Triple H, you think this is easy because this guy knows how to wrestle. He's a big wrestling encyclopedia. I got a lot of respect for who Triple H is. And to see Roman Reigns going against him, it's a big deal for this kid who's only a year and a half in WWE. He's got his years doing what he's done before, but he's in the major leagues now, and it's exciting to see him getting that torch. A little bit last night, a little bit of rub from Cena, and then a moment with Triple H. Big deal for Roman Reigns.
And
Good for him.
And to think he's going to be in the main event match for the championship at Battleground in a couple of weeks. I mean,
X-Pac posted tonight that he thinks that Roman Reigns is actually positioned better than anybody in the Shield. He's in a great position. He's in the main event. He is with he's in the big time. He's working Kane, Cena, Orton, Triple H. He is in the mix.
Yeah. And
there's no better place to be. This is Wrestling 101, advanced level, right off the bat.
Something you and me need to talk about on another show. And maybe we can get the ball rolling and get everybody's opinions on it right now. Here's the subject, and we'll follow up next week with you guys. Are you guys enjoying Roman Reigns' build more than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Now, that's the real question. Yeah, I want y'all to marinate on that because I can't help. I'll say this much. And Titus, I don't know if you want to maybe kind of tease it a little bit yourself, but I'll say this much. I think about how Dwayne Johnson first came in with the Rocky Maivia and all that, and then he went into the whole Nation of Domination and all that, and just the slow evolution that he had. I mean, you knew from the moment that you saw him as Rocky Maivia that without a doubt he was going to be a multi-time champion. You knew that as soon as you took a look at this guy. You saw it in him. It just needed to be the right place and the right time, but in due time. And sure enough, it happened. And you see that, and then you just see the way Roman Reigns has been doing things. I mean, almost kind of following in the same footsteps as Rock. But the real question is, whose build-up right now to that main event scene, to the championship scene, is better? Is it Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or is it Roman Reigns?
Yeah, and someone over on Twitter, Bullet Sky O'Connor, has been talking a lot about Roman Reigns and what he sees he's going to be doing the next couple of months. And when you look at the comparison between him and The Rock, everything that WWE did wrong with The Rock, they did not do with Roman Reigns. And that's my teaser, because there's a big difference. And I think that the end result will be very similar.
Yeah.
I'm big on Roman Reigns.
Yeah, same here. But, I mean, overall, this Raw, it definitely felt lackluster the first half. It really felt like this show really did not start to pick up until we saw Jericho.
Yeah, I said to you off camera before we started, I still don't know, was it a good Raw or was it good moments mixed into Raw? Was this a good dinner or did I just have some good alcohol in between the different courses to make the whole night really that good? I don't know. I don't think it was a great Raw.
Let me sum it up. Let me sum it up this way as we get ready to get to what you all had to say about Raw tonight. And I think this is a really good analogy, okay? I was having dinner with my girl earlier tonight, and she was like, "What do you want to eat, babe?" I said, "Well, you know what? Why don't you whip up your famous tuna?" And I'm a fan for tuna, big fan of tuna. So she hooks it up, and she has tasted it. I go, it's kind of off. There's something missing. Really? I said, yeah. And I told her, I said, if you could do it like the 7-Eleven sandwiches or the Subway sandwiches, if you could do the tuna like the way they got it, perfect. And she's like, I'll work on it, but come on now, what's missing? I'm like, I don't know. It tastes kind of bland. So she puts a little relish in it, and she gives it to me, and I take a little sample. I go, it's getting there, but something's not quite right. It's still off. Well, maybe mustard? Try that. Put a little mustard in there. Still something a little missing. She knows how much I like sweet stuff. So she goes, well, maybe some sugar. I said, okay, yeah, try some sugar. So she put some sugar in there. And I told her finally, I said, you know what? I think this is as good as it's going to get. It's edible. And that's how I felt about Raw tonight.
Yeah, I definitely, that's a great way of putting it, because it wasn't the worst Raw. It's, you get a lot of people say how great Raw was and what a great night it was, and you get others going, this is the biggest waste of my time. It's in between. You take the everybody who says it was a 1 and you throw them out. Everybody who says it was a 10 and you throw them out. And it's someplace in the middle. It's a 5, 6, 7. It's a 6 overall, and I think maybe it's close to a 7 because of Jericho. But I'm going to throw on top of that that great little donut that we had that was Jericho. It was nice and cream-filled because of AJ Lee. And that was completely unexpected and not anywhere, I don't think, on any of the dirt sheets had that story. So I think that AJ puts it over into that 7 because we weren't expecting to see her. We all thought she was pregnant with baby Punk.
Yeah, exactly.
And clearly she's not. She's just very, very tan.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Good tan, too.
Let's see what you guys are saying right now. If you've enjoyed our recap and review, please go out of your way. Make sure you give this piece a thumbs up. You can Google Plus this, retweet it, Facebook it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content, whether it's breaking news, doing great reviews like what we're doing here for you all right now, or doing some kickback, laid-back reviews, or interviews, rather. We got you guys hooked up, so make sure you hit that subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at the RCWR Show. You can follow me personally at Mr. Sandman Lee, but do me a favor because my private account is private. If you're going to follow me, at least send me a courtesy tweet so I kind of know the connection, because otherwise I won't accept your friend requests. You can find Titus on Evil Genius Titus on Twitter.
We got some breaking news here, Lee. We got a statement from WWE that Cesaro is gotten hurt. He was seen by WWE Dr. Chris Amann. He had some scratch to his right eye in the what they're saying is not the cornea, but in the sclera, which is part of the eye. So they're going to keep an eye patch on it for the next 24 to 48 hours, and some artificial tears, and keep an eye on that. But he apparently took something to the eyeball during his match tonight. It was a match against Dolph Ziggler, taping for main event.
Ouch! Not good. Not good. Let's get to you guys' comments. Lee Dobby, that is, not me. Lee Dobby. Do you think The Rock might be an influence on Roman Reigns' career because they are family relations, cousins? To be more precise, let's not answer that. Because that kind of ties into what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago. We can talk about that next week. Mr. Biggs, it's not about Smarks not liking old talent. It's about the old talent that the Smarks like. Interesting. Flaming Tables should have gave us Jericho in DC. That would have been a huge mark out moment. Hashtag DC does it better. Honestly, and I said this to my girl because I was there in DC last week at Raw. I said, damn, why did I have to get the lackluster Raw? Why couldn't I get a Jericho return? Why couldn't I see AJ Lee? So I kind of feel where you're coming from, man. Joseph, AJ Lee returns and wins the Divas title. Best moment of the night. Off topic here. Are you going to see? Go ahead.
I was saying, I would agree. It was one of the best parts of the night.
Yeah. Off topic here, but are you going to see Dawn Planet of the Apes? No.
Second.
Beefer Sutherland, who is a big 24 fan. Hey, Lee, hope all is good with you. What are your thoughts on Swagger versus Rusev? Well, we already told you about 50 minutes ago. In a perfect world, for me anyways, it would have been Kurt Angle to be the Rocky. I have said that before, yes, of this situation. Alas, we have no Angle. Second scenario, I would have have gone Lesnar, a la Brock is too big. Now I guess the Angle Lesnar hybrid that is Swagger has to do it. Laugh out loud. Also, is it me or does Seth Rollins' new look remind anyone of Zeus look from the No Holds Barred days?
Yes, it looks like Zeus from the No Hold Barred
Titus.
days. Absolutely. Saw that movie in the theaters. Totally looks like Zeus. And, of course, before that, Jack Swagger. The only thing missing from this whole thing is red, white, and blue tights.
Yep. Yep. You know what? We missed the match on purpose because, like, Titus will probably agree with me. It was like basically a segment to not care about. Although Dolph Ziggler, he had defeated Fandango, but you know the whole Layla and Summer Rae thing, I like totally like. I was trying to pay attention to the match, but I mean we had girls kissing up on the guys, and it was like
All WWE is doing with Summer Rae is making her look cheap and sleazy. She's kissed on different guys. If you tie that into some of the things that you see on Total Divas, she's not looking very much like a good role model.
You know, speaking of divas and all that, where the hell is Eva Marie? I mean, damn, we haven't seen her in a good minute.
She's still trying to learn what a wristwatch and a wrist lock are.
Damn. Hellbound of Justice. Overall, I think Raw was good, but the first segment just didn't sit well with me. If Triple H hates Roman Reigns, it makes absolutely no sense for him to put Reigns in the title match.
Yep.
Other than that, it was a good show to make the product tolerable with Super Cena with the go. # damage control.
No, there's a lot of blowback on Twitter. I've been reading about the Authority opening up just like every single show these days. And that was a great point. He shouldn't be putting in. If you're going to go with storyline and make things making sense, you don't put Roman Reigns in that main event because he doesn't want to push him. Yeah, you're right. Great call.
Yeah. Jamie, Haley, and Titus. Wow, Raw was amazing tonight. The matches were great. Matches of the night: Seth Rollins and RVD. Kenny Kingston. No. The Kingston Cesaro, Kofi Kingston, yeah, and Cesaro match, and of course the main event as well. I am very happy to see Chris Jericho's back. I hope he will stay longer than a few months, and of course AJ Lee. With her being back and now being champion, we will hopefully get a good feud between her and Paige. Titus, do you think based on what happened tonight between AJ Lee and Paige tonight that Paige will be turning heel? All in all, an amazing Raw tonight. P.S. WWE, please give us a Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins match. I mean, Titus, you answered the question already. I mean, but if you want to reiterate, you can go for it.
Yeah, she's getting a heel turn. That's a good thing for her. It's I think where her strength will lie. You're gonna get your Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match. You're probably not gonna see it until there's big money at SummerSlam in LA.
Yeah. I only want to read...
Slow burn that one.
Yeah. I only want to read 4 more from you guys. If we don't get to your comments, have no fear. We'll definitely reply to you guys long after this is over. I promise you guys. But we do definitely appreciate all the comments coming in. Garrick, I'll be honest. I like Lee Sanders' impersonation of Mr. McMahon better than the one Damian Sandow attempted tonight. Let's hear it, Lee. Oh my God, he's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. I will leave you with that one. Curly Man, Raw was an okay show. A lot of surprises. Glad to see YJ again. Pretty weird. Let's go Swagger chants. So was Paige a transitional champion until AJ got back? The main event was okay. 7 out of 10 show. Lee, was trying to look at your review for yesterday's pay-per-view, but it looks like I can hear you but can't see you. Just a picture of Titus. Yeah, I realized the hard way that apparently I'm like manually the cameraman. So that's why if you guys are looking right now, you'll see me. And then whenever Titus talks, I try to switch it back to him. And when he's done, I do this. I don't see an auto thing right now. So special shout out to those of you that are a little bit more familiar with the Hangouts. If you maybe want to give us a quick tutorial, just hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. Titus, you want to follow up on one of the key things that Curly Man had said there. Was Paige, in fact, a transitional champion?
No, because she just transitioned back to AJ. I think the better term is that AJ was going to have some time off, and they decided, with as hot as Paige was in NXT, they would give her a little bit of an opportunity to see what she could do and what the fans thought of her. It wasn't transitional. I don't think. I think it was more experimental.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's see what we got right here. One more comment. Let's see if we can go out on a very good note right here. I want to kind of pick up on something that, like, because y'all are pretty much saying almost the same thing. Let's see if we can go with somebody kind of fresh here. Something maybe off the wall or whatever. I can't find anything. I guess we'll end it on this one. Luke's. Hey, Lee and Titus, I actually had no problem with tonight's Raw. I was excited to see my guy John Cena tonight. Glad he won. Glad he's a 15-time world champion. I'm always going to be a John Cena fan. I'm helping you out right there because you didn't put fan in there. You just said I'm going to be a John Cena. I got you, though. No matter what, and I actually love Cena and Triple H go back and forth with the slang talking. And Lee, I bet you're excited because Jack Swagger and Rusev are finally having their segment, as you predicted weeks back, that you wanted to see. And I wish I would have heard Mark Henry's theme music when Cesaro was attacking Kofi, because that would have been awesome to see Mark Henry and Cesaro go at it. But tonight was good. Good, hated. Really? Good, hated seeing? You don't mean that because you just say you're a Cena fan. Good seeing Cena, I think is what you're trying to say, get his ass kicked. But Roman and Dean did a good job tonight on the ending. So I was pleased with tonight's show. Have a good night, guys. All right, no problem, man. We appreciate that. And, well, we see something coming in on Twitter, right? Let me just pull that up real quick, show some love on Twitter. Dawn Marie, RCWR show, the only thing Seth Rollins is missing is the Venom's mask from Spider-Man 3. He does look like he has the Venom suit, don't he?
He does. He really does. But I didn't put it together until that last tweet a few minutes ago, and it is totally Zeus. All he needs is the crooked eye.
You think they went overkill on his costume? Because, I mean, it just seems like over the past several weeks, like, when I was there at Raw last week, he didn't have the whole built-in abs and all that. It was just like a skin-tight type of bodysuit to kind of make him look kind of muscular or whatever. You think they're going a little bit too overkill?
I think that they're trying to keep some similarity to what he was dressing in the Shield, some consistency there. Seth is not a big guy.
Nah.
Trying to make him look muscular, it's clearly not. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't like the get up myself. It just doesn't.
I'm fine with his current gear as long as they don't pull a Joe Schumacher and give him Batman nipples.
Right.
You know, I'm fine as long as they don't do that.
No bat butt.
No, and no bat butt crack. Okay. Right. Seriously. All right, guys, we did a pretty good show. I mean, we worked out a lot of the kinks, as you guys have seen and heard from joining us from the show less than 24 hours ago. I hope you guys had really enjoyed it. Sound off. Let us know what you had thought of it. We got one show in the books. We got two more for you guys. Now, Titus will be back with us next Monday, as the goal is to, unless something comes up and he can't do Monday nights. He'll be back with us next Monday night to talk about more fallout from WWE Raw, and of course he'll definitely be joining us for the WWE pay-per-view fallouts. But we got two more shows before we go on a little bit of a break due to the holiday. We've got the Tuesday night radio edition of the RCWR show. Make sure you join us for that. We're going to go a little bit more in depth on this whole part-time thing. Now that Jericho is back and everything, I definitely want to give you guys a little unique spin to that. So make sure you join us for that. We'll also hook you guys up with the very latest in entertainment news. Definitely some sports news. A lot of big things have been going on in sports. I'll give you one hint, something to kind of marinate on. It looks like Jason Kidd is no longer the head coach for the Nets, as it looks like he got traded, if I'm not mistaken, to the Bucks. So talk about a weird decision that was made right there. We'll go a little bit more in depth about that. Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern over at Blog Talk Radio, and then Thursday night we'll hook you guys up right here on YouTube for Impact Showdown. We'll cover Fallout from TNA Wrestling, as I believe this episode we're going to be getting. They should be in New York. We should be seeing the return of the six-sided ring. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but join us for that as well. For all the very latest, Be Kind, Rewind. We got some really great stuff for you to check out here on YouTube. We got stuff for you on the downloads. Just check out all the links in the episode description below. All right. One more time, follow Titus Machiavelli, please. Pretty please with sugar on top. You won't regret it. You can follow him at Evil Genius Titus. Be Kind. Follow the RCWR show on Twitter. And that's going to do it. Titus, take us out, man. Throw a final word.
You know, I always used to end my old radio show the exact same way. No matter what you do in life, whether you are, the street sweeper or you're the king of the world, you do it the only way I know how, and that's by any means necessary.
Good words right there. Special shout out to Dawn. I will answer that question Tuesday night on the radio show, okay? He's Titus Machiavelli, Lee Sanders here, wishing all y'all to be safe, and please be kind to one another. Those of you that's not going to be joining us for the rest of the shows we got coming up, have a safe and fun 4th of July holiday. Take care, folks.